PSP Audioware introduces the brand new ReactivEQ module for the InfiniStrip. In this video you'll be shown some real-world examples on how this module can help you in your mixes. Hi, I'm Marlon of White Noise Studio. The new ReactivEQ module is a dynamic EQ. And what is really great about the ReactivEQ is that it can do both boosting and reducing on the same frequency. Using both the above and below threshold dials, this can really fixate a certain frequency area. Take for instance the next bass. On this bass guitar you have these low notes who poke out. Now, by adding a ReactivEQ module and set the frequency around 80 Hz and adjust the threshold, you can now reduce these low-end barks, so to speak, to have them more in balance with the rest of the notes. To get the other bass notes who lack a little bit of low end more even, increase the below threshold control to boost when it's below the threshold. This gives the other notes more oomph and a real solid constant low end. The same can be done between the slapped bass note and the other notes. Set the frequency around 1.2 kHz and adjust threshold and the above and below dials. This method works on anything which needs a constant presence on certain frequencies. Think of snare, vocals, guitars and so on. The ReactivEQ is useful as very first module in InfiniStrip on vocals. This vocal has a 600 Hz presence in the later half.
No need to be modest!
Using ReactivEQ to bring down that peak will make sure that any processing behind the module can do its job better.
Pretend that you are! No need to be modest! Pretend that you are! No need to be modest!
Take this signal chain. Without ReactivEQ it chokes the rest a bit due to this 600 Hz peak.
No need to be modest!
And with ReactivEQ it will sound way more open.
No need to be modest! Pretend that you are!
This works on any frequency, of course. If a vocal has a very harsh mid-presence, you can use the module to tame that.
No need to be modest! Pretend that you are! No need to be modest! Pretend that you are! No need to be modest!
The module is great when you have to push away frequencies below a certain threshold. This is very useful when you have an audio track which has a lot of bleed. Let's use it on this bass drum. Set the threshold to react to the kick and reduce with the low shelf everything below the threshold. Now the module will act as a frequency-dependent gate. It nicely keeps the dynamics intact, but still suppresses bleed. Using the ReactivEQ in this debleeder function works also really well to reduce cymbal bleed. Here's this low tom. By using the ReactivEQ and turning the below threshold down a lot and increase the above threshold, you'll notice a lot of the cymbal bleed on this floor tom will be removed, while keeping the attack. This will give a way more natural transgression of the floor tom than just adding a fade out. On snare, the same applies. This snare has cymbal bleed in it. We'll do exactly the same right here as we did with the low tom and play with the transition and time dials. Granted, it takes away a little bit of the life of this snare, but you can dial that back in easily with an EQ in InfiniStrip. This is before, and this is after. The cymbal bleed is nicely reduced, which will save you a lot of headaches in your mix. This use of the ReactivEQ has also the additional benefit, when you still want to use a gate, that this gate can do its job more precisely because there's less bleed, which can false trigger the gate. ReactivEQ is a powerful module to shape your audio before applying any other processing in InfiniStrip. You probably will find uses for it you didn't think of before. Thank you for watching. I'm Marlon of White Noise Studio. Make sure you get InfiniStrip and subscribe to the PSP Audioware YouTube channel.